I'm Zach, and this is my wife, Emily, and this is our son, Max. We built our first house entirely by ourselves, and now we're working on our next project, a small waterfront cabin on a lake in East Texas. So subscribe and follow along. Hey, what's up, guys? So we just got back up here to the lake, and I've just been kind of getting everything set up, the trailer and some tools. And yeah, I just got a little bit of framing left to do, and then we should be ready to start getting the sheathing on the walls. The weather is really nice this week. We had a little bit of a cool front come in, so it should be quite a bit more pleasant than the last few weeks we've worked up here. So definitely looking forward to that. Looks like everything held up good. We had a hurricane hit Texas, but thankfully it stayed south of here, and by the time it was up this far north it had already turned into a depression, but the house is fine. None of my roof underlayment got ripped off or anything. So I need to frame out this nook here, and I'm probably gonna have to cut this little tree down. It's a nice little tree, but it's kind of close to the house, and the branches are kind of inside the house, so I think it's gonna have to go. And then there's some other framing. I need to add the studs above some of these window openings, and like that door opening, and I'm probably gonna add blocking at 8 foot across these taller walls and up there as well. So for sheathing, I'm going with the zip system. I was able to find this stuff quite a bit cheaper back at home in Houston, so I purchased it there and drug it back up here. So we're finishing up some of this framing, and we're framing out this nook area, and got this board on the ground laid out with our stud locations. Got that one up there on the ceiling. We used a combination of a laser level and a plumb bob to get the right location on the ceiling. So we're just going to individually cut these studs and cut the right angle for the ceiling on them, and then we'll just toenail them in one at a time, and then come back and add some strapping to them later. Alright, so it's the next morning. Yesterday we finished up pretty much all of the framing stuff we have to do. I'm still working on this little nook area, and I think that's the last thing for right now before we move on to the sheathing. I installed a few pieces of sheathing on the front here. I did that small section there, and then that section, and then the other small section there. And I just wanted to kind of stiffen up this wall so that I could remove a couple of these diagonal braces, so that we could get the scaffolding and stuff in there. So yeah, I'm just gonna finish framing out this nook. Almost done. And then we will start on the sheathing. Alright, so we just finished that back wall, and we're going to start on this outside wall. But we didn't have a walkboard long enough, so we made one out of, had a couple of leftover eye joists. So I just put two together, and then a little bit of leftover subfloor. And that made us a pretty long 14-foot walkboard. And since I left these beams overhanging, we were able to just put it across these two. And it's not quite long enough to make it to that beam, so we may have to use the pump jacks. Okay, so hold up this end. Alright, well, we've done as much as we can on this trip. We got this back wall done and then this other side wall finished. I still haven't done the flashing on the back wall, but this front wall is pretty much done. I just have a couple more spots to flash at the bottom, but I can get to that with a ladder later. I just wanted to get everything done on this side. This is the hardest wall just because it's so tall. And the front side, there's really not that much sheathing to do just because there's so many big openings. So the rest of the walls should go a lot faster. The pump jacks were kind of sketchy to use. There's a little bit of a learning curve, but I think we figured it out, and once we added some additional bracing and stuff, it felt a lot more secure. But yeah, it'd be pretty much impossible to do without it. You'd have to build some pretty elaborate scaffolding. That's going to be it for this video. We'll be back up here in a few days, and we'll finish sheathing the rest of the house and then move on to the next phase. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.